Hi there! In this video I am going to try to explain to you how to print a pyramid of stars in the console. So it is going to look like this at the end. It is going to be a pretty long code just because we're going to use recursion, not a for loop, not a while, just the recursion with the constant variables. So here, as you can see, we have to take care of three things. Of the height of the function, so how many lines basically it has to go. The spaces over here, and the number of stars. And to start with that, you can see that we're adding 2 stars at a time. So here we have 1, then 3, then 5, then 7, and so on and so forth. And the number of spaces is becoming less by a 1 at a time. So here we have 4 spaces, here we have 3, here we have 2, and 1. So keeping that in mind, firstly we are going to create our stars function, which is going to be responsible for the number of stars, basically. So the stars function is going to return a star concatenated with the same function with the argument n-1. Unless, of course, n is equal to 0, then the function is just going to stop operating. So keeping this in mind, we're going to use this later. We're going to get to the spaces function, which is going to return a space concatenated with the same function with an n-1. So that n is basically going to be responsible, let's say, for the height, for the number of lines. So we will have to create another function that is going to combine these two and actually create the triangle, the pyramid. So here I'm creating a stars1 function, which is going to combine those two. And it is going to operate with the number of spaces, with the number of stars, and the n, which is going to be the height, basically. So if n equals 0, just return nothing, of course. If it's not, then print the function of spaces with the number of spaces concatenated with the number of stars here. So as you can really see, we have basically spaces concatenated with the stars. So that's how this function is going to operate. And the n, as I already said, is responsible for the number of lines. So this function, after printing the first line, let's say, is going to return the same function with the number of spaces less by 1. As I already said, the spaces are becoming less by 1 at each time. And it is going to return the number of stars added more by 2, let's say. And the number of lines is going to decrease by 1 each and every single time. So it does sound a bit complicated, of course, but I'll try to be precise. So we are creating the last function, let's say, the triangle stars, which is going to return the stars function, the stars1 function, with n-1, 1, and n. So because here we have 4 spaces and 1 star, firstly we're going to run the stars1 function with a 4 with 4 spaces, 1 star, and 5 lines. 5 is the height, of course. So we're calling the triangle stars function with a 5 here. As you can see, we have the triangle stars over here. So it is going to run the stars1 with spaces of 4 1 star, and with the height of 5. So the stars1 function is over here. Here we have the number of spaces being 4, the number of stars being 1, and the height being 5. So here it is going to console log the spaces function with a 4 concatenated with the stars 1. So let's get to the actual spaces function. So here we have an argument of 4 at first. So 4 does not equal 0. It is going to return a space. So imagine we have a space on the line concatenated with the same function over with the argument of 3. So here, since 3 does not equal 0, it is going to return a space again, concatenated with the same function. So over and over like this, we are going to have 4 spaces in a row until the argument becomes 0 and the function stops operating over here. So here we have 4 spaces in the first line, and whenever the function stops operating over here, the stars1 function is going to concatenate it with the stars. So here let's get to the function of stars. The argument is 1, if you remember. So 1 does not equal 0, then it's going to return a star. So here we're going to have a star concatenated with the same function with the argument of 0. And since it's 0, we're not going to have anything else over here. So here we have the same line. Now it is going to go back to the stars1 function and return it with the arguments of 3, since the first number of spaces was 4. The argument of 3, since the first number of stars was 1, and with the height of 4. So back again, we're going to the function spaces, having the argument of 3, and it is going to print 3 spaces. After that, the argument is going to be 0, so it's not going to return anything else. Then it is going to concatenate the spaces function with the stars function. And the stars function here is going to be 3, the argument. So 3 does not equal 0, it is going to return a star over here, a star. Then concatenate it with the stars function with the argument of 2. 2 does not equal 0, it is going to return another star. And going back, the argument, it is going to have an argument of 1. So it is going to return a star and stop operating, since the argument is going to be 0 there. So that's how it's going to build up. Every single time it is going to add 2 stars and decrease the number of spaces by 1. So after all of this, you are going to have this beautiful pyramid of stars, which of course was, let's say, a bit complicated and long to explain and actually write, but that's what it is. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope it was understandable, although it was long. So thank you for watching, and you have a great day. And if you do want to see the actual code, it is going to be the link is going to be down in the description box. Thank you so much, and have a good day.